You want to be here. You want to be maxing out your purpose and your money. But unfortunately, a lot of people are either way over here or they're way up here. They make a ton of money, they have zero purpose. For the best quality life you could possibly live, you need both. You need the freedom of money, you need the feeling of purpose, you need that impact. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 4 methods I've used to build that method. Because I was in a job I absolutely hated. I had money, zero, that was me. And I'd be able to get it closer and closer to that corner because I understand these methods and these concepts. So there's 4 things, let's break it down. Number 1, we have to change our perspective on reality. We have to change how we see the world and break our limitations. Why is this important? Why don't we just find something we want to do? Because this is the driving force of what we think is possible. And if you're somebody that has a very low belief on what's possible and you're in a box like you have been your entire life, you're not going to pursue these things. You're not going to take the risk. So number 1 is we need a massive shift of perspective and beliefs. And unfortunately, our typical belief system and perspective on life was given to us by our external reality. And so we have this predisposed belief about what is possible. Like for me, when I was on that graph, the belief I had was from my family that going into sales is to make good money, to live a good life. To go to corporate America, to be in a big company, to work that life. That was the belief that was put onto me. Oh, you're a good communicator. You've always been good with people. Go into sales. It's good for you. It's what you should be doing. It makes the most sense. So I did. And I was on that graph and I hated my life because my parents told me what I should do. How true is that for everybody else? So your external reality, until you become aware of this and until you become enlightened of a bigger picture perspective and you get out of those chains, is going to hold you down. And so how do we shift our perspective on what's possible? We obtain information. We consume plus obtain new information. Information that is not at our school disposal. This is not from a master's degree. This is information from books that are centuries years old, about people that speak about the concept of creating your reality. And there's so much to go into on this that I'm not going to be able to go into on this video. It's all on my channel. But consume and obtain information. We must understand that we can create our external reality from the internal world. Again, why is this important though? Because we need to know anything is possible. Once we have the firm belief and conviction that we can do this, we can go from internal reality to external world, and we have this shift in perspective, then we have the courage and the faith to actually pursue things that most people say are crazy, which you need to have. Like my current business, everybody told me it's not going to work. Everybody. I build brands for celebrities. Everybody. People in the industry, pack it up, man, this well's going to dry out. But I had this belief that I can shift my external world from my internal reality. So it didn't matter what they said. You can bend reality to your will. Once you know that this is the premise of all creation of life, of all external realities, then you have the faith and belief to go and take a risk. It's not a risk. It's a risk to other people. It's perceived as a risk. And you can actually go and create your own reality. So what I would recommend, audiobooks or real books of esoteric information. Very, very important. Neville Goddard is a great place to start. Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel Shinn, amazing books on this. We have to rewire the belief. Because again, if we're stuck in this confine of perspective on life, and we don't think anything else is possible, and we're not in charge, then we're never going to take action on this stuff. Ever. Number 2 is we really have to understand who we are at our core. We're so uniquely different as individuals. We're powerful, we're unique, we have different talents, we look different. I mean, we can go on and on about how unique people really, really are from each other. And so that uniqueness is the secret. Understanding your unique talents, abilities, powers is the secret to understanding what avenue is going to hit you on that top mark. Purpose, money. So number 2 is awareness of self. when I was in my corporate job, hating my life, selling that service felt so out of place. It just, from a gut feeling, from an intuitive feeling, it really didn't resonate. It really didn't resonate. And you can look at this in an example that everybody's gone through. Everybody. You're in school, you're doing X subject. For some reason, you're very disinterested. You go play a sport or you go play a game and your soul's on fire. And you know this is happening when you forget time exists. When you forget time exists and you're doing something that consumes you, literally, you're just like so excited and it's just like you're pulled to it. That's how you know that is something that is aligned with your soul. When there's a lot of resistance, it's absolutely not aligned. So what are the actual tangible methods we can use to become more aware of self? Now you're going to think I might be a dumbass when I say this, but astrology and numerology are so important to understanding self. So important. The mainstream definitions of these have been diluted and watered down so that you don't go and explore it yourself. Because let me tell you something. Reincarnation is real. How else can you have these weird innate talents from a very young age? From a very young age. I'm sure you've been naturally gifted at something or your environment sucked. Like I was naturally really good at baseball. Really good at baseball. Why? I don't know. We have no idea. I practiced as much as everybody else. I was just naturally good. And you see this across different, arts and music, etc. People just have talents. So it's our job to uncover these. And the point of reincarnation is you come into this life with previous knowledge that's somewhere deep in your soul. How else can you be naturally gifted at certain things? It just doesn't make any sense otherwise. And so once we uncover these talents, the mastery of self, the awareness of self, that is such a good foundation to walk on to finding out the true purpose of what you should be doing. And so we must look at what makes us unique and what makes us us. Astrology, very important. Numerology, very important. Natural talents, very important. What we're drawn to, very important. All of these things paint the picture to give us an idea of why we're actually alive, what our soul should be doing. If you don't know how to do any of these, I got you. Go to ChatGPT, and what you're going to do is you're going to prompt it to ask you questions about your astrology and your numerology so that you can have a better direction, an idea of who you are as an individual. All you need is your full name, your birthday, time of birth, and location. When you come into this world, I'm telling you, like if you were to look at mine right now, it would say thought leader, communicator. I'm a 33 number. I'm a 33. I'm a Gemini. I have all these weird traits. But when you actually read through them, it's like, holy shit, this is me. This is literally me. I've never in my life seen somebody do these exercises and have it be unaligned. So this is going to give you insight. And I was doing this years ago. I still do it today, but I was doing this years ago. But when I was in my job, I'm like, I need a lead on the direction that I should be going in. We all have a bigger purpose, right? It's that divine purpose of why we exist. And so my 33, my astrology stuff, it all leads to teacher, advisor, and I love coaching. Like I love coaching, and I love making these videos. It's all aligned. There's nothing unaligned. Doing these for yourself will give you massive clarity. Massive clarity. And also what you want to do when you're doing these prompts in ChatGPT is you want to ask it what careers make the most sense to max out my financial and my purpose and why I exist. Watch what it comes up with. You'll probably love it. I can almost guarantee it. I've done this. Natural talent's what we're drawn to. That's when time doesn't exist. If you have found something where time does not exist, pursue it at all costs, find a way to make money. Find a way to make, that's your soul saying this is it. That is your soul saying this is it. So we need to become aware of self. Also, meditation is really helpful for calming and being still in the mind and giving you that clarity on who you really are. We have to find out what the heck's going on here. because it's like that example with the what's it called? The goldfish. You put a goldfish on a tree, it's gonna think it's the worst creature. I don't know what that example. You know that example, right? The school example, where you have a creature, you put it in the wrong environment, it thinks it's stupid and inadequate, etc. It's the same thing, but all of us get pulled into school, college, job. It's just, it's wrong. It's really wrong. Because you're the goldfish on the tree, typically. I know that's going to be the wrong example, but like bear with me because we all get clumped into that, so we have to break free. We have to develop awareness of self and pursue them at all costs. Now, number 3 is going to be action plus specialized knowledge. Your first plan might not be the plan forever. It might not be, right? But it's the aligned plan right now as you uncover these things. You have to take action when you feel these intuitive leads. When I was wanting to start my first business, when I was miserable in corporate America, I said to myself, I need to start something creative that I really enjoy that can make me a ton of money. At the time, again, I'm starting at zero. I have no entrepreneurship information or knowledge. And so at the time, my perspective was really limited because I didn't have all the information I have today. So I was thinking about concepts, I was thinking about ideas, I was thinking about what business it could be. I had zero idea. I went with clothing because I was drawn to combining the creative aspect, which I've been drawn to always. When I was 6 years old, I was on Nike ID creating baseball cleats and designing them for hours. Time didn't exist. I was drawn to it. So that's something I've always been interested in. I've always been kind of, an eccentric dresser. And so I thought about that. I'm like, okay, this is aligned. Clothes. And then I combined the spiritual depth of my personality into a brand. But I spent time journaling and thinking and conjuring up ideas that aligned with me and my deeper purpose. That is the point of having awareness of self, because it leads you to these ideas. Once I had the idea, light bulb drawing, I had to take action. I had to have specialized knowledge. So take action on all leads. Immediate action with purpose. Specialized knowledge is important because you have to learn from people. You have to learn from the source. When you start, you're at zero. And in order to give us the best chance of success, knowledge is what is going to steer us in that direction. And so what I mean by specialized knowledge is certain books, right? Specific content of certain thought leaders and people that are already doing what you want to do. Buying courses, getting mentors, right? So mentors, all these things are very important. It's going to save you so much time. And it's also going to save you the emotional defeat of going through so many trials and tribulations because you're direct to the source. Mentors, courses, books, specifically on your idea. This is going to be how you get to where you want to go. Because you had this grand vision, and you had this idea. You start at zero. In order to climb the ladder and make your way up, you need the knowledge. You need the information that's going to get you there. Number 4, and the very, very important last one, is not every time as you conquer life and as you max out your purpose and your money and all of the things that you want to accomplish in your life, are things going to go exactly as planned. It's inevitability. God, there's a divine power that has a bigger plan. And so, number 4 is flexible persistence. I think I coined this term. I've never heard anyone else use it. Flexible persistence. When I ran my brand for the first year, my first business was a clothing brand. I ran that for the first year. I scaled it very quick, actually. We went international. We were on really big names. It's very difficult. I didn't raise money, so I bootstrapped. I bootstrapped it with my limited knowledge, and it was difficult. I was wearing every hat. I was outsourcing to agencies here and there, but I was often left disappointed. And with margins and with my time load, I was just like, I think it's time to pivot. I think there's a better way. So I was open and I had flexible persistence. That led, because of my relationships with athletes, musicians, etc., I pivoted towards brand building and niche service for them. Because I had the connections, I had the expertise at this point, and I just went for it. And I went for it, and it changed my life drastically. Drastically. I only was able to do that because I was persistent but flexible. Like I was still going towards that end goal, that end being. But I had enough flexibility to take a slight pivot, change a different degree. And so with life, when you want to go this way, right? When you want to go this way, but life is taking you this way, go that way. go that way. You're still going to end up here. But it may take you around the corner. And that's fine. Because things are unpredictable. You can't, with 100% certainty, tell the future of the next 50 years. So you have to be able to pivot and change and move. Maybe you thought, you know what, I would really love to work at this one company and learn under this person. I think that's my divine purpose. Great. Not everyone's divine purpose is to be an entrepreneur. This can be very different things. And so you go and work for this company. You get it. You do everything that we just mentioned. You go and work for this company. The guy retires, or the guy leaves, or the guy dies, right? And now there's like this massive void of your whole purpose. But you have to understand something. There's only one power. There's only one source, the God source. Everything is happening for you. You just can't see it until it happens. Hindsight. And so this massive event happens. There's this massive void. Everything you've been working so hard for, the whole reason you're at this role in this company is because this happened, right? Because the guy passed away or whatever the case was. And so now you're in a position where you're feeling a little bit lost. It's time to maybe have some flexible persistence. What is this telling me? What angle can I take this in? Did this happen so that I could find another opportunity? Did this happen so that maybe I can move to a different role or work with somebody else that is going to get me there? Because everything is happening for you, and it's our job to discern it. It's our job to look at the plane of reality, the 3D world from an internal to external, and say, how can I decipher this? Why? What is this teaching me? If you have that perspective, if you have that mindset, every day of your journey, you're going to get here. You're going to get to the promised land of where you need to be, the star. You have to be able to have that perspective. It's very easy, and this is why it's so important to learn step number one. If you go back to step number one, it teaches you about state management, right? Your thoughts, if you don't understand those principles, you're going to get here and give up. You're going to get here and say, poor me, I can't do this, etc. You're going to go into a low state. If you maintain a high state, you will get there no matter what. And that's how you max out life. Because when you get to that corner of max money that you want and max purpose that you want, every day is like a dream. It's mystical. When you're doing things you love doing for tons of money, it is like the craziest, amazing, euphoric feeling ever. And I hope you'll get to that corner with the 4 methods I just told you. God bless.